Well, this is very lucky for us because
Yes,
Jonathan Pierce is, of course, a professor at Lincoln College, and Jonathan is in the department that invited Bing Wang to come to the U.S. of A. and stay here in Lincoln and visit with us, and she brought 8 students with her, and it'll be interesting to hear what they think. I'm sure that's a little different than Shenyang province in China.
Well, Judy, may I do something first?
Yes, of course.
We forgot to give Doctor the correct appellation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He worked hard as an adult, and there's a story in and of itself to get to earn a doctorate degree. So let's just give him a little credit while he's there. That's
and say Dr. Jonathan.
We've had the privilege of having Dr. Pierce up here before, and of course he is a chair of our MacKinnon School of Business. So I think we need to find out how is it that we have such a nice personality as Dr. Wang and the 8 Chinese students that we have. So tell us that story about how you went to China, Doctor.
Sure. Be glad to. First of all, thanks for having us on the program again. I want to introduce my colleague and who's someone I call my friend now.
Yeah,
Professor Bing Wang from Shenyang, China. We went to Shenyang in December of last year, try to establish some recruitment relationships and maybe open up opportunities for us to bring some Chinese students to Lincoln College. And through one of her colleagues, Dr. Kevin Xing Wang, not related to her but same last name, we had a great tour of the university there. This past May, I returned to Shenyang to teach at a different institution, but while I was there, we had opportunity to meet with them again. I forgot to mention that in April, both Professor Wang and the Dean of the School of Foreign Languages, Professor Lydia, also came here to Lincoln, and we gave them a week-long tour of the campus of Springfield. And so the relationship went beyond just cordial academic relationship to what I think is a good friendship. And so we were able to bring 8 students here to Lincoln College from Shenyang, and they are English majors at their university, so they're studying English as for their bachelor's degree. A couple of the students are actually master's students who are in their Master of Translation and Interpretation, but her role is to continue to help them learn and kind of be the liaison in the classroom and on campus. So if they encounter language issues or concerns that she can help address, her role is to help them continue to learn English. And they are here at Lincoln College taking classes for credit that will transfer back to their institution. So we're just thrilled to have them here. They're a great bunch of kids. My wife and I have hosted them at our home twice now, and we just feel like our family's grown.
Yeah.
We've added 8 children to our family, and they're just they're a great group of people. So Professor Wang, we're happy to have you here. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Pierce.
What has been your first experience as you came to Lincoln College, Professor Wang?
The first experience is this is a small town, because when we got off the train, we find no taxi at all.
No taxis.
No public transportation. And luckily we met another passenger, in the train station, and the couple, they tried to ask a taxi because they were waiting for the taxi. So we share one taxi to the hotel. Anyway, people here are so nice. That is the second impression. And then Jonathan pick up us in the hotel, and for 4 days, right? And in the Lincoln College, we had a really nice experience, and it's very impressive, and especially the teachers and the president. So that is under the food is quite good. The cafeteria.
That may be the greatest thing we have on campus to offer.
Sometimes college campus food is not the best, but there's enough variety to where
my dean believes that food is okay. Is it beyond her imagination? Yes.
Well, Professor, Jean and I had a grandson that went to Lincoln College, and then, of course, and we wanted him to experience the whole. We put him in the dorm, and we wanted him to experience the whole thing, as opposed to commuting from his house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said to him one day, "How's the food?" "Oh, it's okay." Well, then he went away to another school, and the Western Illinois University over at Macomb, and he came home, and I said, "Well, how's the food?" Boy says it was a lot better at Lincoln.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he had something to compare. In any event, we're very happy to have this Chinese representation
Thank you.
on our small campus. I think it's extremely important, particularly in view of conditions in the world and the times that we're now living in, to have an avenue of communication between what I call the person on the street, as opposed to President Xi versus President Trump. You know, we get down to this. You and I can talk, whereas they don't think that maybe they ought not to talk. I think it's important to have this opportunity to visit with other residents of major companies, countries such as China.
Okay. Yeah.
Go right ahead, Mrs. Busby. You were just phoning and just trying to get in there and ask your questions, and now I have a little fun with her.
We were talking about language, and yesterday we broached that subject, and we don't stop to think about some of these things. For instance, you were saying that we have a river, or a brook, or a stream, or a this,
Creek.
or a that, and we have so many different words for the same thing. I live on Peoria Street. Jim lives just across the way from me on Park Place, and we have avenues, and we have so many words for the same thing. What do your students say about that? Do they think it's quite necessary to have so many words for the same thing?
Yes, no problem for them, because in Chinese we have the same experience.
Do you?
Sure. You know, Chinese language is also rich. Even for example, for the river, we have different kind of names, and it varies from area to area. Because China is so big,
Yes.
and we have dialect. Even in I'm from Liaoning province. Even in Liaoning province, we have different accent and a dialect. But anyway, most of them are comprehensible. But for some cities or province far from Liaoning province, such as Guangdong province, you know Cantonese. Have you heard of Cantonese?
Yeah.
And most of northern people will speak Mandarin, and the Cantonese, the language I don't understand at all. It is a foreign language for me.
Okay.
So, and some Sichuan province, they have Sichuan dialect. Sometimes if you speak so fast, for me it does not make any sense. So you see, so this is quite understandable. But anyway, I think the students enjoy learning some different words for the same thing.
I think
no
it's fair to
problem.
say, Doctor and Jim and Judy, would you say that we have dialects here, like South Chicago and then Logan County?
Right. I mean, if you go 2-3 hours south into southern Illinois, they have words that you have to pay attention to.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, and
Yes.
I'm not sure what they're saying. Say y'all, and they start having a southern drawl. So even regionally, we have different
Yes.
dialects and different tones.
Well, as I said yesterday while we were visiting, you know, we don't speak English well here in America. We speak American, but the proper English, forget that. We just do not speak proper English. We have our own colloquialisms, I can't say that twice, and slang, and different nuances to words. And it makes it very difficult for a person who's not American to understand what the heck we're talking about.
It's okay.
It's
Now-
okay.
It's okay. No
That's
problem.
good.
We understand. We understand that.
That's
And
good.
part of our conversations that we have at the lunch table or throughout the day is one of the students or Professor Wang will ask, now, what's that word? You know, what does that mean? And so we have a discussion. And, you know, we don't often stop and think about the meaning of words in
Oh, no.
a conversation. And so sometimes I even tell her, I'm not sure. I don't know exactly how to explain the meaning of a word.
Well, that's
Well,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I jotted down some questions yesterday to kind of think this thing through a little bit. And one of the questions I jotted down here for my own notes is restaurants. Do people here? It's very common for people to go out. We say for a bite to eat, go out for dinner somewhere. Do Chinese residents go out to restaurants frequently on a
Sure.
regular basis?
For my family, I think it depends. But usually, we went to restaurant twice a week. Sometimes
That's regular.
because in my family, only my husband and I, we went to restaurants. Sometimes we don't want to cook, and then we go to restaurant. Sometimes we are going to meet some friends.
Yes.
And then meet in the restaurant. We seldom entertain the friends at home, because Chinese food. If we want to cook, if we want to entertain the friends, we need to cook a lot of food. It takes time. So we'd rather go to the restaurant and all the things are ready. We don't need to clean. Chinese people, we don't use the dishwasher. We just wash with hands. We prefer. We don't believe in that kind of machine.
That's interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we just trust our hands and with the water and wash. So we don't use the washing machine.
Could I take you
Not
home
washing
with,
machine, dishwasher.
Dishwasher.
Could I take you
Dishwashers.
home with me, Professor Wang?
Sure.
I'd like to make sure Jean understands that.
Okay.
The transportation. You mentioned the taxis.
Yes.
You
taxis.
have public transportation there, of course.
Yes.
Now, do you have streetcars over there? What we
Yes.
call streetcars,
Yes.
electric cars.
Yes.
And your transportation between cities
But
is pretty fast by train, is it not?
that is bullet train between the cities. For example, between Shenyang, my city,
Yeah.
and Beijing, that is about 400 miles. If we take the bullet train, it only takes us 4 hours. 4 hours to be there. And the price is about maybe $30 something. $30 something. So it is very convenient.
Very
And
inexpensive.
yeah. But in the city, I prefer the bus. Bus is so cheap. That is about, for one ride, the most expensive fee is 2 yuan. 2 yuan.
Oh, maybe like 30
renminbi.
cents.
30 cents
Maybe.
for
Yeah,
one
yeah.
ride from
Yeah.
the beginning to the end.
30 cents.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And or if I am in a hurry, if I want to travel from the very south part of my city to the north, it's long distance, and I'm a little bit in hurry, I would like the subway. Subway is a little bit expensive than the bus, but the highest price is that is $1. $1 from the very south part of the city to the very north, for example.
Well, now we see pictures of traffic congestion,
Oh yes.
automobiles over there.
Yes.
And that's a serious problem.
Yes, that's
And
serious
pollution
problem.
from the cars is also a serious problem.
Yes, that is why the government try to encourage the people to take the public transportation and try to develop the construction of public transportation. So in Shenyang, so far we have 3 we call it subway lines. 3, but in Beijing, maybe 20 or 30 lines of subway. Okay, but in my city, so far we have 3 in work, and another 2 are still in construction.
So just for
Yeah.
perspective, the city she's from is 7.5 million people.
Yes.
7.5
Yeah.
million.
So
Okay.
it's a huge city.
So
Yeah, I think that moving from 7.5 million to our 15,000, or we don't even have 50, that has to be a quantum leap.
Yeah.
That has to be a shock.
yes, I think so.
Do you have public libraries over there, Professor?
Oh yes, private, public library, right?
Public,
yes,
yes.
yes, we have. For example, we have province. We have a library called Library of Liaoning Province. That is a huge library, and in the next semester, I think some students in Lincoln College will come to visit my city and my university, and we will lead them to visit our library of Liaoning Province. Is a huge one, and for each district we have our libraries, so public libraries here and there. Yes.
We're very lucky here in Lincoln, Illinois, Golden County. Not only do we have a wonderful library here, but our smaller communities, such as Atlanta right here, and then over in Emden and down in Elkhart, we have they're small villages, Professor, and they have very nice libraries, which I think is a wonderful thing for the community.
Yes.
Public radio stations, do you have, like we are on now, do you have are they privately owned or government-owned stations? Your radio station?
Oh no, radio station I think should be state-owned.
That's what I
No
would suspect.
private.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Maybe there are some private-owned, but I have no knowledge of that.
Well, the reason I brought that, it wasn't too smart, it wasn't too swift, but anyway, we have sponsors,
Oh yeah.
and they pay for these programs, such as you and I and Judy and Dr. are on this morning.
Oh,
So
good.
we're going to stop a few minutes and have our sponsors give a few words. Go right ahead, James. Right back live on the air this morning. The program, of course, is Viewpoint. We have some exceptionally interesting guests this morning, and this is about as far as you and I ever reached to get a guest, Mrs. Busby. We're very, very honored to have with us this morning, all the way from the country of China, Professor Bing Wang. Accompanying her is our Dr. Jonathan Pierce, Chair of Division of Studies in the MacKinnon School of Business at Lincoln College. And Dr. Pierce is the reason we have Professor Wang with us today. He has been to China a couple of times, gold mining for students. And he came up with 8 great students that we have here with us. And then Professor Wang leads them on campus and aids them as they go about their daily business of attending class and finding out what we Americans are about. And that's kind of an in-depth study right there. Professor Wang speaks excellent English. She has been well schooled, which leads Judy. Your question was, Professor Wang, about was there a theory there? Do people in China think differently of we Americans because they haven't been exposed to Americans as she has? Is that's the essence of your question?
Yes.
Okay, we will now, as we say in baseball, throw the ball to you, Professor.
Oh yeah.
So what's your perspective on, prior to coming to the U.S., what generally, what do people in China think about Americans, and then how did that change once you arrived here?
She was telling us, Bing was telling us off the air that she was afraid that she might be a victim of racism. I suppose the news over there, we've had issues here in one city and the next, that's the truth. But it isn't a commonality. I think I'm within my bounds when I say that we don't have issues here in Lincoln, for instance. And you were afraid you might be touched by that, and it didn't happen to you at all.
No, not at all. And I think it is determined by the personal experience, the people we met, the story we heard of. So seeing is believing.
Yes.
I overheard that New Yorkers are snobbish. But when I visit New York, I took the subway wrong line twice. But New Yorkers are so nice, and they showed me the way, the right way. So I think, no, they are not snobbish at all. I don't think so.
So you were pleasantly surprised then.
Yes. So that is called a stereotype, maybe, but in fact, it is not for me. It is not true for me. So.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Now, you're an educator
Oh, yes.
by profession. What do you think of our education system here? Have you had a chance to visit, like, say, in this, right in the city of Lincoln, it would be School District 27. That would be the kindergarten through 8th grade, and then the high school would be 9th through 12th.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had a chance to visit those schools?
No, but in Allendale, Michigan, I visited high school because my daughter studied there. Yes, but here in Lincoln, no.
I think that would be a great opportunity for the Lincoln students. We need to get to know other people. We're not just, the days of isolation, Colonel Lindbergh's days are long gone. And it is
Yeah, I agree.
worldwide now today.
That is why Chinese students wanted to come to the United States and to see what is happening here. And all of them want to learn something good here. And then return back, they could, put it into practice. And my students, they were treated so well here. And I think the kindness and the friendliness, they are they learned a lot of things about it, and they will learn to treat the other people more friendly and more kindly.
An important lesson.
Yeah.
A very important lesson.
Yes.
Education in China is a real priority, isn't
yes,
it?
Sure.
Yes. Now, as you've been in Michigan and now in Illinois, are you feeling that we have as great an emphasis on education as you feel you do in China?
Education here cannot be compared with those in China. I mean, not college education. That is kindergarten to high school, because in China, education is the most expenditure for the whole family. We spend almost all our money on children's education. So I don't think American parents could do that. I once talked with some American parents and they told me, I want to support my children, but I have 4 children. I cannot afford that. But in China, we don't have many children, 1 or 2, so no problem. And we try. For example, my daughter, she came here in high school and also the college. And I think the college tuition here is a big sum of money, especially for Chinese, because the exchange, currency exchange.
Yes.
But we still wanted our children to get some, broaden their horizon here instead of only, in China. And I just want to talk about the tuition in my university. My university tuition is, let me see, I forgot. That is renminbi, 4,800 yuan per year. That equals to $685 per year. That is the tuition for my university. And about the dorm. The dorm is 1,200 renminbi. That is about $170 per year. About the food, maybe $5 per day, 3 meals. So that is that is much cheaper than those in the United States. So we still want them to get another kinds of education. Hope they could learn more. So you could see, we emphasize the children's education a little bit too much.
Are there what we call here trade schools, wherein we teach somebody electricity or air conditioning and heating, welding, carpentry, those types of hands-on trades? Do you have those trade schools there?
Yes,
that's
sure.
very good.
But maybe we have our own features. In order to be admitted by the university, the students, this is not like American way. You applied, and then the university will make some evaluation assessment and then determine whether the students will be admitted or not. All the Chinese students need to take a national entrance examination to college. And if they reach some standard, then they will be admitted by different level of universities. Most, good students, that means with the good scores, will be admitted by the prestigious universities. And those with the lower scores, they could be admitted by that kind of university or colleges or some educational organization. So that is different.
Professional schools such as law, medicine, dentistry, are those in existence over there, those professional schools?
Professional schools is different. For the unit, we have that kind of professional schools. Some schools are very prestigious, and then high scores to be there.
Very high scores.
If not that prestigious, maybe lower score. Yes. Okay.
Math is an emphasis.
Yes.
Math is an emphasis all through your education, isn't it?
Yes, sure.
What would be the second most emphasized?
I think the first emphasis is not math, it's English in China.
Oh, really?
Yes. The child will be educated about something, about English, maybe from they're in their mother's belly.
In the womb.
The pregnant woman will listen to some English songs.
Is that right?
And from maybe 2 years old, many parents in city, they want their children to get exposed to English. And maybe in the kindergarten, they would we have different kinds of kindergartens, public and private. And also we have another one, international private kindergartens. That international means the teachers there, some of them are foreigners. They just teach in English and in American way or in English way. So a lot of games, and so the children could be immersed into a whole English environment, and they have a good sense of English. So when you hear their oral English, you cannot identify. Maybe they're just like their mother tongue. So that is, I could say that English is the number one thing. I mean, in big city, but in the rural area, no. Yeah, in rural, that's different.
Yes.
Well, Doctor, these students have been with us now since September. Has it been an interesting ride for you? Since this is kind of your baby, you went over there and you recruited students, which was a great thing. And it looked to me like you brought the cream of the crop here. That's an expression we have, Professor Wang.
Yeah.
That means the very top.
Oh yes.
And we say the cream rises to the top. Well, that's what he brought the cream over.
Yeah.
Have you had any unusual experiences in your capacity, Dr. Pierce?
I wouldn't say they've been unusual for me, but they've been unusual for the students. So one of the things that we're required to do, is mandated by us, by the Department of State, is they're expected to be given a cultural immersion. So they're here to learn American culture, and we need to take them different places. So they arrived in Chicago on August 8th. Was it August?
August 8th.
Yeah, it was August 8th. Yeah, because we're still in August.
Yep.
Wow.
Not long, but
Not long, yeah. So August 8th, they arrived. That Saturday, we took them to the state fair
Yeah.
and showed them what is a common practice in American life, right? County fairs, state fairs. And if there's one thing that you absolutely must see at the Illinois State Fair, what is that one thing?
The butter cow, of
The
course.
butter cow, right? We showed them the butter cow, got pictures around
Yes.
And their eyes went like that.
it. Yeah, well, I had to explain
Sure.
what is a butter cow,
Oh,
right?
yes,
How
yes.
is it made? Why have a butter cow? Is another question.
That's
it
the
does
best
beg
question
the
is why.
question.
And every year it's a different mold, a different model. So it's been more unusual to get them to understand things that are unique to American culture. So that was really fun. We got to see various animal barns and things of that nature, and just experience a little bit of what it's like to have American life. We took them, we bought Chinese food from a restaurant that's close to my home, and then we took it to Lincoln Park in Springfield, and we ate at a picnic table and just enjoyed the day. We took them shopping in Springfield because they needed some supplies. So what does a mall look like, right? What does a Target look like? What kind of supplies are there? And things are a little bit different, but not terribly, not terribly different. We also took them to an Asian food market that's in Springfield.
Oh, how
Yeah.
Because it's all primarily Asian items that they're very familiar with. So
Was it genuine, Professor Wang? Was it genuine? I mean, was it real Asian food?
Yeah, I think so.
It was. Okay.
Yeah. It's very genuine.
yeah.
Tell me, ma'am, do you have livestock farms such as cattle and or pigs? People who make their living growing livestock. Do you have those over there in China?
I think yes, we have. But I'm living in the urban areas, so I have rare opportunity to visit those kind of places.
Right.
Yes, and we don't have state fair. Maybe they have, but I'm not in the agriculture field, so. So maybe Jonathan, you are going to visit agriculture university in this October. Okay, maybe there I never visit that university, but I heard there are a lot of farms on the campus, and maybe there the students or teachers there have more ideas about agriculture. My university is civil engineering and architecture oriented. So
You were saying something yesterday that I thought was very interesting about not having to worry about your personal safety. If it was after dark and you decided you needed something from the store, you wouldn't be frightened
no.
to walk to the store. Where here, there are areas in Chicago, for instance, where I wouldn't want to go out and walk to the store after dark. Do you have any idea why you don't have problems with that and we do? What have you done that was so right over there that?
I think for one thing, that is police. We have more police than here. I don't know. Maybe police works so hard. For one, another one is in America. I think people live far away. It's quite hard to, for the police to monitor or whatever. In China, we lived together.
Yes.
So it is maybe easy. Another one is more people there at night. Even at night, a lot of people on the street, so we feel safe. But in America, when it is dark, few people on the street, and so that will make make the people feel a little bit scared because
Yes.
no people. But in China, whenever you go to the street, maybe before 12 a.m., you will meet the people on the street and the taxis and the buses. So that is why we feel safe.
Do the factories and stores stay open around the clock?
Yeah, usually open to 10 or 10:30. Yeah, factories no, but stores yes. So and a lot of we call it a street line or street
The
lines.
emphasis on education?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, street lines.
people
Oh,
working.
now here, most of the young people, even those who are married with children, work outside the home. Is it true in China as well?
You mean the children?
Are the children taken care of by the grandparents or go to a daycare and the mother goes to work? Is that more common than not?
It's very common by the grandparents. And because when I gave birth to my baby, my parents were not retired. So I had a babysitter to help me. And but nowadays, I could see that my colleagues, the young colleagues, when they had the baby, they hire a babysitter and also want their parents to, to give hands. So that is quite common. And because in China, at least for my colleagues, they don't want to. They want to quit the job when they have the baby. And so they have to work. At the same time, they need to take care of the child. It is no way to do that. So when they work, they ask their parents would like to take care of their baby. And also, sometimes, when their parents are so old, maybe over 70, they cannot. In China, over 70 is old age.
Careful.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Bill.
Careful.
But that's true. That's true.
Steady there. Careful.
But you are young. You are just
Young at heart.
50 something.
Yeah, hard.
And then sometimes the parents they don't trust themselves, so they still wanted to hire a babysitter and they work together. Okay, so because for Chinese people, child is number one thing.
And
nothing can.
Now, speaking of such matters as age, Professor, here and in many countries they have what we call retirement homes. That's what Judy is pushing me. That's why she pushed me out of the neighborhood to go to the retirement home. Do they have retirement homes as we know them over there, where older people sell if they own a house, or they just go to a home where they're taken care of? Do you have many of those homes?
You mean nursing homes?
Nursing homes.
Yes, we have. But according to the traditional Chinese culture, when the parents grow old, it is the children's duty to take care of them. And especially the son's duty.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but nowadays things change. The daughter also would like to take that responsibility. But for my generation, we have just one child, and I think when I grow old, I'm not movable. I would like to stay in a nursing house because I don't think when my daughter, when she get married, a couple but full parents, they have no way to take care of all of them.
Yeah.
So we would rather, stay in a nursing house. And because I'm from Shenyang Jianzhu University, that is more about architecture and civil engineering, I know some professors nowadays are focusing on the construction of nursing houses. They're focusing on those kind of research and studies. That is, I think that will be that is a future for my generation, we need to live in the nursing house when we are not movable. But for most retired people, for the men in China, 60 at age of 60 we can get retired. For the woman, 55 to 60, and after retired we are still young, so we would like to do some traveling and do some recreation. And for each communities we have such kind of, we call it senior university. The retired people could go to that kind of university to learn Chinese painting, calligraphy, and some traditional Chinese musical instrument and different kinds of games they could enjoy there. And so that is about the retired people's life. And until they are not movable, they need to be taken care of. Maybe they need to think of what they need to stay, where they need to stay. Yeah.
Well, for one part, Judy, that's why we'd send you over there for your retirement years. It looks to me like they take good care of you.
That's good. I'll need it probably sooner
Professor
rather than
B.
later.
Wang, over here from the country of China, assisting Dr. Jonathan Pierce, Lincoln College professor, with 8 students that are here from the country of China. We're happy to have them here as our guest. We hope that we send them back better educated. Professor, thank you very much for being with us this morning. It went very fast.
Yeah, it's my
Dr.
pleasure.
Pierce, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. It's our pleasure to be here.
We always try to close Viewpoint with some. So today we'll just use my usual fallback, which I think is worthwhile anytime. Be the reason somebody smiled today. Thank you.